Last time I saw your business was doing maybe 200 a month.
I have right now approximately 50 team members and we are doing 1 million a month. You are a gladiator when you are able to stay in business for 10 years. 10 years, only 4% stay in business. I started this game and I had 8 competitors. Now I have 1. It just came because I just came out of my group coaching call. I can count it on one hand how many calls I missed in this nearly 6 years. Just 3 of them.
So Phil, introduce yourself as if someone was introducing you for the listeners.
I introduce myself. I'm Phil Lang from Germany. I started my online business exactly 6.5 years ago and went into coaching started in January 2019. Had a lot of coaches in the time till now, and you was one of the most important coaches. Therefore, I say thank you. To be still able to welcome me here in Miami. And yeah, we're doing good. I have right now approximately 50 team members, and we are doing 1 million a month cash collected.
Dude.
This is our level right now. And yeah, everything I learned, as I said, from mentors, from coaches from the United States, because still now you guys here in the States, you are 2 years, at least 2 years before or in front of us when it comes to digital marketing, because Google, Facebook, everything is coming from the States. And I just committed me 6 years ago to learn, to soak it up, and to search for the best. And yeah, I found you. I don't know, it was 2019, at the end of 2019. And I came into your coaching program then. It was January 2020.
Yeah.
And we have now, as end of 2024, and we still use your stuff, and it's just
that's dope, man.
It's just dope, as you say. It still works. It's still one of the most and best drivers to make revenue. So you were an inspiration for me, because I was not knowing you at all at the beginning at first. But then I can remember one of your pictures on Facebook where you are holding 4, ClickFunnels 1 million or 2 Comma Club awards, and I said, "Who is this guy? I want to learn from him." I learned once from I think it was Grant Cardone who said, you just go to the best.
Yeah.
And there, we had one call. I was sold before I even got on the phone with you. You just said it's the price point. You named it, and I just invested, and it was probably one of the best investments I have ever done, to be honest, because as I said, I have a whole team, DMing the whole day, and it's still working, and this is the reason why I'm so glad. And I was here, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago we met, and now after COVID and everything, we said, okay, let's fly overseas again. And when you have time and to meet, I follow you on Instagram and Facebook. It's always a pleasure to see you getting up early, grinding out. You have the drive. You don't lose the drive. I'm a little bit older than you. I'm not sure what's your age right now, but I'm 41, and I'm still, inspired every day that you are such a beast when it comes to discipline and focus. That's amazing.
Man.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Well, yeah, I think last time I saw your business was doing maybe 200 a month.
Yeah.
So you 5x the business. That's insane.
Yeah.
Congrats. What's it like running a business specifically in Germany? Because obviously a lot of our viewers and listeners are from the States. What's it like running a business over there?
I think it's similar. Or nearly the same. What my business is about, that I call our business, we are the agency to freedom, meaning we work 100% remote. I have business team members, they are staying and living in Mexico. I have some are living in Spain and in Cyprus, in
they all
Portugal.
speak German, right?
They're all speaking German.
Wow,
yeah.
that's crazy.
Just, in our product.
Are they native usually, or do you have anyone who's picked it up somewhere?
No, they're all native.
Yeah, that's what I would assume. Okay.
Yeah, and I just tell them, hey, when you join our team, you are 100%, free when it comes to the location and the time. And my closers, we have right now, I think 6 of them closing every day. They definitely work on their financial freedom as well. So our motto is our, vision for ourselves. And yeah, how is business in Germany? What I really think, and what I hear from you a lot is that many people are just not able to, stick to it for a long time. And when I started, I heard one quote from Robin Sharma, who said, hey, when you want to be a pro or an expert in anything, it doesn't matter what it is, you have to stick at least for 10 years. And therefore I committed me at this point, okay, sales and marketing, this is, what I love, what I'm good at it. I want to be better. I want to, grow every day a little bit better, 1% better. And I do it for 10 years and then see what happened. And, I was getting really fast the first results, with paid ads and social media. You get a lot of traffic and leads, and I'm I get into the 7th year now, so I'm not done yet. And when I look at one of my mentors is Tony Robbins, he's just living up north, right? And I was at his platinum partnership, and he's doing his stuff for over 44 years, man. And this is what I told myself, hey, how can this guy be so into this, And, you have to have a big why you're doing it. I have to. And then you get up every morning and say, hi, I make my business, I make my thing a little bit better today, right?
How do you help your clients specifically? So if I was a client, I sign up in your program, walk me through a little bit how that looks like, so the listeners can figure that out.
What I help the German-speaking countries, it's Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. It's actually how to start their own social media marketing agency, in running ads for local businesses, meaning fitness studios, cosmetic studios, all these brick and mortars, and bring them up to 10K a month, 25K a month in revenue. And I'm still doing it. I just came out of my group coaching call, which I still do every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And, I can count it on one hand how many calls I missed in this nearly 6 years, right? It's just 3 of them. This, I tell my students, hey, if you are committed, I'm up road, I'm overseas, there are time differences, whatever. I'm here for you. I serve you at the best I can. And this is what you have to put in. If you're in Germany, if you're in Europe, if you're here in the States, I think this is the most important thing to be able to, survive in this environment. And another funny thing is Tony Robbins, I really admire this guy, not only for, being over 40 years in business, but he says, you are a gladiator when you are able to stay in business for 10 years, because 10 years, only 4% stay in business, right? And this, he says he compares it with a gladiator because at the, times in Rome, with the gladiators, they went into the arena and they knew that the chance that they get slaughtered is getting higher and higher the more often they go into the arena, right? But they did go again and again and again. And so he said, okay, today it's not the arena, it's not the Colosseum in Rome, it's business. And each year you survive in business or on the market, it makes you more and more a gladiator. And this is the second thing I say, okay, 10 years, for at least 10 years. But then I realized, my dad, he has his own business for, 40-ish years as well. Wow. And then I said, okay, he's just a single man show, but I admire him for staying that long in business.
I think a lot of times in business, it's just a war of attrition. I've been in business long enough now that I've had good years, bad years, good months, bad months. And I think a lot of times when you have the bad months, that's where maybe those thoughts start creeping in that you should quit, or you're like, hey, this isn't worth it anymore. And I think a lot of times just keep going. And it sounds very basic, but going back to what you said, I think a lot of people, they just quit. And if you don't quit, you really can't lose. And it sounds very cliche, but it's just the longer I stay in business, I think it just gets easier for me not to quit when things go wrong. Exactly. Because the more bad things that happen and I keep going, I just kind of realize it's just another bump in the road.
Yeah.
So in SMMA, for the listeners, that's social media marketing agency. What are some of the pros and the cons? Because, I do more, I would say, general business. So there's more types of businesses than that. For me, when I look at SMMA, I like the fact that it's a little bit more narrow. So maybe it's a little bit easier for the client or consultant to get results. But I'd like to hear from you, like, what are some of the pros and the cons you've seen just from, coaching, hundreds of clients at this point?
One pro is definitely when you are able to decide what niche you want to serve, right? Mm-hmm. Then you have just a copy and paste strategy. You have to crack the code once. For example, I cracked the code in 2018 for gyms, fitness studios, right? And I knew exactly the franchise chains I want to serve. I knew exactly the offer. I knew exactly how the ad should look like to generate leads. And then I just could copy and paste this process over and over again. And I scaled it really fast. And so this is one pro, that you just say, okay, I just serve one niche, and you just try to crack the code as fast as possible. What I like on the social media marketing agency thing is that, you have B2B clients. You have a gym owner, for example, or a cosmetic studio owner or whatever. That means that you have contracts. You get your money easier than B2C, whatever. This is probably one advantage as well. And yeah, we have a lot of, we have over 5 million local businesses in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And as I said, most of them, and even here I recognized it as well, most of them are still, making advertising and marketing like, 5 years, 10 years ago with, billboards and flyers and, radio advertising or which makes no sense at all, right? Yeah. So we are still in the process of showing our middle class, our companies, how to do marketing and run ads efficient, very efficient, and with a small dollar or euro in our case, you could start and see results. So this is a pro as well. We make it, for example, we offer a free test or trial week to run ads for the gym, and we collect $100 for this first week. And then the fitness studio, for $100, you don't get a newspaper advertising at all. You don't get any radio advertising at all. And for $100 in social media, in Facebook or Instagram, you get a full week, when the daily budget is just $10 or whatever, you get a full week of, ads running 24/7 in your region, in your local area, which is a huge pro, right? A meaning advantage. And yeah, the business model has so many advantages that I'm still into it, and I'm still have the feeling to help our companies in German-speaking countries to achieve or to get it done to the new markets, to the new medias. I always, I'm coming out of the newspaper industry.
Yeah. That's what you did before, right?
I did. I learned it was 16 years old. When I was 16 years old, I was a printer on a machine. I put paper and color and water into the machine, a big machine, and the sheets of paper got printed in the machine and got colored out. And I was over 10 years in the printing industry, and I was in huge newspaper printers in Berlin, for example, for the Bild Zeitung, which is the biggest newspaper in whole Europe. and I saw that the newspapers, they just go bankrupt more and more. And I was working as a consultant in the printing industry, and I saw, for example, the number that 10 years ago we had in Germany alone, we had over 18,000 printers. Now 10 years later we don't have 8,000 anymore. So
wow.
All these budgets, all these money was going away from the printing industry and was going into the internet, and of course in social media, meaning the biggest ones are Facebook and Meta. And I said to myself, hey, I need to change places. I need to go to the fountain of money, right? And this was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I always wanted to be my own business owner, and tried it many times before, failed here and there, and then I found the digital marketing industry here in the States, and I'm super grateful till this day that you guys are leading the way and showing the whole world what's going on, because in other countries, for example France or Spain or South America, they're probably 3 or 4 years behind, right?
So what's the mindset like? I know in the UK, they seem a little bit, it seems when they hear big numbers, they don't think it's believable. And so is Germany similar to that, where, in the United States, someone's like, oh, I want to be a millionaire. And I was like, yeah. And then maybe in Germany, they're like, a millionaire. Like, is it kind of similar to that?
Yeah. People are, in nature, they are skeptical, right? And when they hear big numbers, they are saying, oh, this must be a scam or whatever. But, what I do and what you're doing very well as well is just show them proof, right? Having testimonials who back you up, having interviews, having Trustpilot or whatever source you use, where you ask people for a reference or for anything to be able to back it up. And the more you send them in the DMs, in the CC, the more they believe. And then finally, I use a VSL funnel, they watch my video training and see, hey, when this guy or this girl can do it, a mom, for example, with 2 kids, and she never used Facebook before, and then she's making, with the coaching, she's making in 5 weeks over 30 grand, then they slowly start to believe. Yeah.
So Germany is a pretty small country. How many people live in Germany?
83 million.
83 million. So, okay, so not terribly small, but that's about a fourth of the size of the US. Do you ever worry that you're going to run out of space or people to market to in Germany?
No, not at all. I just told you that I was meeting Nick Robbins, one of my former coaches, before I came to your coaching. And I asked him the same question. I said, Nick, do you think that somehow in the future this all will be gone? This opportunity will be gone? And he said, we are in the social media marketing agency space. The opportunity will be gone when the problem is solved. And then he asked me, when do you think the problem is solved? That local businesses need help with marketing? I said, never. Because every year, 500,000 new customers or new companies are starting. And then the run to 10 years to become a gladiator is starting. And, the problem will be never solved. And I heard another guy telling a story just 2 weeks ago. And he said, the social media marketing agencies thing, it was exactly the same 2017. Now we're getting close to when everything started, because this industry was the big, jump in 2017, where most of the Americans, I just got heard the first time in 2018 from this, but in 2017 it was really big here in the States. He said it will be the same in 2027 and even 10 years later in 2037. So the problem will be never solved. Solved.
Is there a lot less competition in Germany? So, for example, I don't know if you've even thought about coming over in the States, but do you feel that gives you a competitive advantage in the fact that you're marketing only in Germany? Or I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that.
To be honest, I wouldn't come to the US because there, I wouldn't dare, but I started this game and I had 8 competitors, 8.
Wow.
Now I have 1.
Oh, really? So what happened?
All the other ones just didn't stick to it, right?
Wow.
And the other competitor, he is just doing organic marketing. He doesn't run ads. So I can say, as a standpoint of having the most testimonials or the most, proof, that I lead the market there in this, specific industry. And I definitely know it just came because, as you said, I just stick to it, and I just, I had rough years. I had months where I, made losses, not wins or profits, right? And I just said, okay, this is just normal. It's all coming in cycles, after every winter, a spring and a summer is coming, right?
Mm-hmm. It's funny, I think, how when you just start normalizing losing, where it's not that big of a deal, it just gets easier to keep going. And so what I try to do is, if I do have a bad month or something bad happens, I just try to kind of minimize how big I play it up in my head, and it seems to help me go a lot further. I want to talk a little bit about, for the listeners, how you acquire clients, because a lot of people will listen to the podcast and they, hey, how does this guy's business work? Like, he's doing $1 million a month. That's super impressive. So just talk about it briefly, start to finish. You don't have to go in crazy detail, but talk a little bit about how someone finds out who you are and then they work through to your funnel to becoming a client.
We are actually paid ads driven. I started with paid ads in 2019, and still, we bump up the budget every day. Not every day, but every month for sure. And we run a lot of paid ads to our landing page. They opt in to see the free training. The free training is really good to learn how this business model works, right? They watch the video training. Afterwards, they just fill out a survey where they can qualify to work with me, right? They have to apply for working with me because, everyone has just 24 hours a day, right? And, after the survey, they can book an appointment to talk and learn more about the business model. And then my setters comes in and qualifies him again to make sure that he's qualified enough for the strategy session. And then we tell him exactly in a free call on Zoom. We make it on Zoom, the strategy session, that we show him exactly, hey, this is how it works, and then we ask him if he wants to join, if he's ready. When we think he's qualified enough, he has 2 brain cells, right, and can click some buttons. And then, we just go from there, onboard him. I have a CSM team as well to help our clients to get better, to stay focused and on course. And after 3 months, we have nearly everybody of the clients at this point where he can run ads for his specific niche, local companies, whatever. And if someone says, I want to have more time to learn it or your support, we just give him the chance to even work longer with us. So this is actually the paid traffic. We run Facebook, Instagram, YouTube ads, and as the organic side, we have an email list, with thousands on the email list, and blast the emails and make offers. And I have a Facebook group with 15K subscribers. I have a YouTube channel with nearly 10K. My Instagram just hit 6K yesterday, so nice. I'm not as big as you, but it's just that we have organic traffic and streams coming in and lead flow, and we have paid is probably
I think a good thing that you just said that would be helpful for a lot of people is you don't have the biggest organic audience, but if you can really learn how to run paid ads effectively, you can do a ton of money. You're doing $1 million a month. When they're coming through your funnel, is there anything in particular that really makes them come over the edge? So for example, you said they click on the ad and they fill out a form and they watch the video and they do an application, but are you DMing people? Are you calling people? Is there anything you're doing that really makes the difference to get people to actually book a call so they can buy your high price services?
Actually, I think I have a really good video training. which the conversion rate is pretty high.
Just the video itself converts very high for
Yeah,
you.
the video is pretty good. I always liked it to make, PowerPoint presentations or slides and keep it simple that everybody understands it, right? So the webinar or the video training is pretty good. And what I did in the past, to invest in more credibility is I wrote a book as well as you did, which is amazing. The guy who helped me with writing this book, he just said, "Hey, give everything out. What is valuable, right? The more you give, the more you will get back." And yeah, the book is pretty good. We send it out for free. So if everybody hears this and doesn't have the book, just reach out to me on my socials, and you will get the free book. And which explains the business model in more detail. What we did was a certification which is huge in Europe. I don't know, maybe you've seen it in the States as well. It's called TÜV Süd. It's a blue emblem. You find it on elevators or stuff from Germany in general, where it says, hey, it's proved, it's certified. We invested this year in this TÜV Süd Siegel certification, and it improves the credibility as well. All the awards. This was credit. I don't have that much, but I'm working on it. And awards and is credibility as well. The book, and yeah, of course we DM. Everybody can reach out, and if I DM or my team is DMing back and answering all the questions and sending testimonials or interviews, whatever. Yeah, actually, what another thing is, if you ask these questions, I have thousands of testimonials. Thousands.
Yeah, it sounds to me, one of the things you keep bringing up is you keep saying proof, proof, proof. So it sounds like, at least in Germany, that's the biggest thing is they're so skeptical that as long as you can just make them believe it's real, it almost sounds like you've kind of knocked out all your competition. So it's just getting them to actually believe you are who you say you are.
Yeah, the offer is good, the proof is good, and the backups are good. So yeah, and every day, every year, we stick to it. We get better and get more proof and get our product better, improving there. I have, I think, 9 calls, Zoom calls with clients every week. I just do one of them, but it's the biggest one. So it was not always like that. We just gave them videos in the course, but now we are, helping them one-on-one or in group coaching calls, what to do, have activation points, what is number 1, milestone number 2, milestone number 3. So it's really important for me, as I said, that my clients get results and success. And when the client, sees this and recognizes this, he, when the offer is good enough, he cannot just, he has to stare at this offer and, come back to this offer. And, it's just a matter of time when he says, okay, it doesn't make sense not to do it. I have to make it now. I have to go forward now.
The clients who do the best and then versus the clients who do the worst, what are some of the common differences?
The only difference, in my opinion, and I do this thing for over, nearly 6 years now. The only difference is, taking action. Period.
Yeah, it's to me, I would probably say the same thing. And I think the most interesting thing in the, I guess you say consulting, coaching, whatever you want to call it, the client, you're only giving people information. And I think a lot of times people think that by getting information, that's going to get them results, when in reality, you're just telling them what to do and they have to do it. And more times than not, I find that there's just not that many people who actually want to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's not fun.
Yeah.
Right. But it does work.
Yeah.
Before you got into this,
getting rich is not fun.
No, right.
But staying poor is not fun either.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes I say it's not getting rich quick, it's getting rich slow, because there's a lot of stuff that goes into it that people don't prepare for. Earlier, you were saying that before you got into this, you were in the newspaper business, right? So what what actually transpired or happened that made you want to make a leap into this? And you're basically in your mid-30s, right? And like, had you started a business like this before, or was this your first time?
I started many businesses. I started the first business when I was 18, and I
Wow.
failed miserably. Right. I always wanted to be my own boss, and I read the book. Maybe you know it from Robert Kiyosaki. It's called Rich Dad Poor
Yeah,
Dad.
of course. Yeah, that was one of the first ones I read.
Yeah. I read it with 18, and for me, it was sure that I need to go to the right side of the cash flow quadrant, right? Business owner and investor, and always had my eye on, hey, what can I try to get on the right side as a business owner? I started with 18, network marketing. Just wow, okay, made my feet wet and see how it's working. Made this for a couple of months, and I said, okay, this is not my thing. I started many businesses. I am one of the old guys with the traditional, career. I studied. I have an MBA. I have a master in business administration, which I'm not proud of today anymore, because when I get asked the question, "Hey, would you study again?" I would say, "No, fuck no." I would search for someone who is holding 4 ClickFunnels awards in the internet, and I would give him money, and I would be far away in comparison to the guys going out of the university, right? Because I saw and I had the comparison from the traditional career, studying in universities, and then always wanted to do and have my own thing. I started running Christmas market stands. In Germany, it's huge with Glühwein. Maybe Glühwein. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we had in Copenhagen, in Denmark, we had some stands, and in Dresden, which is in Germany. And this failed miserably. I lost money, a 5-figure money instead of making a lot of money. And I tried the next thing in my masters. I was importing a fair fashion. I just came from LA. I met this girl from this brand once in LA many years ago, and I started importing from Ghana, Africa, the clothes from this fair fashion label
Wow.
to Germany. It failed miserably, And then I stopped.
Where
And said,
where were you coming up with these ideas? Were they just things you like? How did you think of it?
It was crazy, but I can remember when I was on a weekend with my buddy, and we had this weekend. We did it every year, and we drove to a lake in Austria, right? Wörthersee. The lake is called Wörthersee, and I just saw so many successful men, with the big watches and driving the nice cars in front of the hotel and so. And I can remember the situation when I just came to this bar where they just ordered some drinks, and I asked one of these men, "Hey, what are you doing for business? Because you seem successful." And he said, "I don't even remember, some random shit." I always was on the search for something which makes me a good living, which brings me to the right side of the cash flow quadrant.
But it's still abnormal in Germany. You'd say most people are not looking for what you're looking for. Versus in America, I feel it may just be who I've surrounded myself with, but I feel it's a lot more open, or where people will still doubt you, but it's like the American dreams are a thing here, where people are like, you can do it, like you can be anything. So was that awkward for you at the time, and was it hard to find people like that?
It was awkward because in Germany it's not like this, like here.
Like you
The
can't talk
American
about
dream,
it?
You don't talk about money at all.
Really?
Really conservative, right? Really,
So it's like if I ask you, is it disrespectful?
Probably, yeah.
Interesting.
When you ask a lawyer or a doctor what he's making, not like here the guy from the School of Hard Knocks,
Yeah, he goes around and asks everyone.
No,
yeah,
you
what
can't
is-
do that. It's harsh. And yeah, but I learned this. I was always on the search for finding my thing. I tried many things. I failed many times. I was doing my MBA, got into consulting, worked for a company as an employee, recognized that the money is shit, for 5.5 years studying, you're always in the car, in the train, in the plane, you work long hours, you just get nothing. And then I said, okay, I want to help companies to grow or, whatever. And then I found it.
How did you find SMMA? Did you take a course? Was it YouTube? Like, how did you get into it originally? Because usually people are saying, how did you get your start? How did you find it?
I started with just buying the first course. It was funny because Robert Kiyosaki, the book I read with 18, he was in the ad with Anik Singhal.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. It was 2017, July 2017, and I bought a course about email marketing. And, I studied it. I put in a lot of hours, and I finally said, that's not it. This is not fulfilling me. And I bought a next course. I don't know. It was about affiliate marketing. I said, oh, no, this isn't my thing at all as well. And then I invested in the next one and in the next one. And I finally, came to... I found a very good friend of mine. I had contact with him just the other day, Jay Arribas. I found him on Facebook because he was one of the clients of Dan Henry's course. And I invested in Dan Henry's course.
Bro, you've invested in a lot. I love it. You're constantly, I think you've just been on here, you've probably invested 5, 6, 7 people, it sounds like.
This was just the beginning. Yeah. This was, I invested... As of right now, I probably invested over $750,000.
Wow.
In just
good for you.
Coachings, courses, seminars.
You can learn a lot. Some people won't spend that much, but something I always found is even just by investing in a lot of different people, you can see patterns. And I think the patterns really kind of helps you double down and confirm like what really works and what doesn't.
100%, yeah. As you said, it's there are patterns. You will find out, hey, he's just cooking with water as well, but there are different routes or roads to Rome, we say in Germany, to get to the goal, right? So yeah, even now, I didn't stop, reading books. I didn't stop, investing in courses or coachings or whatever. And it's just fulfilling me to soak up everything about marketing and sales and just grow. And it's a lot of fun, to fly overseas, meet your coaches, hang out. It's just fun, man.
Before you had this business take off, right, and you become pretty successful, during those years until you got there, what kept you in the game? I'm curious. Like, was your mindset more, I'm just doing a job right now and I tried a business and it didn't work and whatever? Or like, had you been trying since you were 18 to get something that really took off and it took you basically until your mid-30s for it to take off?
As I said, my dad has his own business, single man, brick and mortar. And he asked me when we were, 14, 15, because I have a brother, he's 2 years older than me. He asked us to, overtake his company or just, to, make what he does, right? And both of us, my brother and I, we just decided not to do it because, he was coming home late. Money was always a problem. And he always, his hands were dirty when he was coming home. And we said, no, we don't want to do it, right? And we were good soccer players at this time and had not the eye for business. And I said at this age, okay, 14, 15-ish, whatever, I want to have my own business and I want to have a lot of money. And this, with the book from Robert Kiyosaki when I was 18, where he showed me for the first time how to get to this level, on the right side of the cash flow quadrant, it still was in me, in the subconscious mind, and it still is. I always wanted not to, I always told myself, and I wrote it down very, very early, I want to be able to do whatever I want to do and to travel to Argentina and stay there for as long as I want, with friends, as much as they are, and this always kept me driving, and this always kept me going, and now I have it, and I really, as I said, I enjoy it. I have my bro here with me, met him Um, when was it? 19, 5 years ago, and we still are in contact. And this is exactly what it's all about. Yeah, to be able to do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it. And yeah, there is. I achieved many goals. The first award, the second award. We are close to the third award, right? And it's just a game of, it, right? To set your higher goals and set new higher things to achieve. And I think we are not dead yet, so we can, attack our goals and should do it. One of my biggest goals I just fulfilled a week ago. It was on my bucket list for over 5 or 6 years now. I always wanted to sit in the front row in an NBA game, right? And I said, okay, I fly over to the States again. What would be a nice game? In which cities am I? And I said, okay, the situation with LeBron and his son Bronny in the same team. And
did you get to see that?
Yeah, I was sitting exactly.
Oh man, I'm jealous.
Next to him, and I saw when LeBron and Bronny, both of them were going on to in court or on the court for the first time, and it was just okay. Check. I have my goal list. Every time I have my goal list, as just a sheet here, and I have the goal here, and I just made it.
You mark it off.
NBA game in the first row. I just made it green, and so.
Yeah, that's not a cheap game. That was in LA.
It was in LA.
Yeah,
I paid a lot of money for it,
Yeah.
but it was definitely worth it, right? And so yeah, this goal is green now. Put in some more goals. I read one book. I can recommend to read this book. This is the best book I've ever written. It was not Rich Dad Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki. It was. Not your book, bro.
Total failure.
No, I read your book. It is an amazing book, but the best book is from Jack Canfield. He's bestseller author. He wrote the book The Success Principles.
The Success Principles.
Yeah, it's such a huge Bible, I say, but it's very short chapters, and this was the best book I've ever read because there are so many golden nuggets in there. And he said in this book, you have to come up with 100 goals. Write down 100 goals. And I said, okay, I will do it. And after 20 or 30 goals, I was thinking, wow, is there not more? And after 5 or 6 months, I had my 100 goals, and this is the list I just showed you. There are many, many more goals on this list, and many, many more to cross away from the list. So yeah, we're not dead yet. So we just keep attacking the goals, right?
I love it, man. What are some of the habits or practices that you found to be the most helpful for you in your personal and professional growth?
This is what I miss a lot right now because the last 2 weeks I'm here in the States. We have time differences to my home country, and the best I will have tomorrow because we're flying out tomorrow. So the best thing I will or I missed a lot, and I will have the day after tomorrow is my routines, my habits. Getting up early. After getting up, priming. I prime every day. I have this prime session from Tony Robbins. In this priming, it just takes 10 minutes. You go into gratefulness. 3 things you're grateful for every morning. Then you just make a breathing technique, and you feel how light goes through your body and blesses you and heals you, and you send out the blessings and healings to your environment, your people around you, your family, your friends, your coaches, whatever. And the third exercise is to you see your goals, the 3 most important goals. You manifest them,
right?
And I write down, every morning in this app. It's called the Super app. It's from The Secret. Maybe you know it.
I love the picture on your phone.
Yeah, it's just
perfect,
manifestation. Bro. But this is the Super app. It's from The Secret, and there you have the gratitude, and you just write every. For example, look at this. It's the 27th of August, 2024. I'm so happy and grateful for staying at Louis' family house overnight. I just wrote this on the 27th of August. That Aaron came up with the life coaching event, and I have the freedom to drive, this and that. And I found JR, and they, I just write everything down. This routine, and then after this, 15 minutes, I do my sport. I was a marathon runner. I cannot run anymore. It's a pity, but I found freeletics where you work with your body weight, right? And then the last 15 to 20 minutes, after sports, after sweating, it's important to sweat. I sweat every day when I have time. I go and read. I read books. I watch some video courses. I write down the things I take out of it, and constant learning. So this is my routine. I really missed it the last 2.5 weeks. Before that, actually, we were 3 weeks in Italy. Before that, I was attending at the seminar. So I had this routine not for the last, let's say, 6 to 8 weeks, but this is the thing I value the most, and I miss the most, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Would you describe everything you just talked about? Would you describe that as meditation? And like, if not, the reason I ask is whenever people are hearing what you're doing, a lot of times they're, hey, how can I get started with it? So would you consider what you just talked about a lot as that meditation? And then if not, explain more what you would describe it as, and then how could someone get started? Like, did you use an app, or did you read a book, or just someone told you how to do it?
Yeah, a meditation, it is meditation actually. To just be with you, be alone, be calm, in a quiet room, listen to some things which calms you down, and focusing on the things you want to focus on, right? And I learned it actually from Tony Robbins. I invested a lot of money in Tony Robbins as well over the years. And there is this video which just takes, 12 minutes or whatever. And I just, start the video, have it in my ears, and just do the breath work and the imagination and the meditation. And when you do it over and over again over a period of time, let's say 3 months or whatever, it's a habit. And there are some habits out there who I, definitely would encourage you to bring into your life, because there are good habits and there are bad habits. Bad habits, for example, is smoking, taking drugs, drinking alcohol, playing video games, whatever. You have good habits like reading, or soaking up every knowledge, or making sports, or whatever. And I started to bring out the bad habits out of my life, and bring in good habits, and this over a course of time, over a couple of years, and you will see the results. There is no way around that. You won't see results.
Are there any non-negotiables? I don't know if you would, maybe consider that different than what you just spoke about, but are there any things that you either have to do on a daily basis, or a weekly basis, or a monthly basis, whether it's personal development or business?
The non-negotiable is just keep going, reading, learning, push the ball forward, improving, even if it's just 1% a day. But when you have the feeling that you can get better, there is room, there is space to get better, right? And when I have the feeling, okay, I'm getting better, then I'm on the right course. I don't have so strict goals that I say, okay, I need to have this goal at this time. Okay, I make goals with a time frame, of course, but usually the goal takes longer to fulfill, and therefore I don't lose the goal out of sight. I just, okay, I improved here, I improved there, and this is non-negotiable, that I always, till I'm 100 years old and will finally go from this planet, I will be a better human being, because the mistakes I made years ago, or months ago, or last week, or yesterday, don't want to do it tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. And this is the reason why I'm here, right? To to show other people, hey, it's definitely doable. I did it. You can do it as well. Here is the path. Here is the door. I can show you the door, but you have to, step through it, right?
What are some of the key skills or knowledge that you think are most important in your industry in the next few years? Or for anyone who's listening, what are things that you feel they definitely have to learn if they're going to be successful?
Marketing and sales. It doesn't matter which product, which service you sell, or the company you work for sells. The most important things for me is marketing and sales. Doesn't matter as a doctor, because actually you should own the hospital, or be part of the board, and then you need marketing and sales. Or as a lawyer, everybody needs marketing and sales. And if you tell yourself, hey, I want to learn more about marketing and sales, you're on the way of making more money. That's it. And money matters. Money is important. Definitely. Even here in the States, this is insane what the price is. It's so expensive here, man.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous, man. I just paid for a pizza. I paid $30, man. I was in Italy. I was just in Italy a couple of weeks ago in Napoli. In Naples, where the pizza was born, and I paid $5. But the comparison of the quality, I don't have to mention, right?
Yeah.
Everything is.
It's better. I've heard it's much better in Italy. Is what I've heard. Is that accurate? Much fresher.
Of course.
Yeah.
When you go to Italy, just let me know.
Pizza Hut doesn't really do it here.
No. And everything is super expensive, even here. And everything costs money. You step a foot out of your apartment door or house door or whatever, you need money. If you go buy a shoe, or buy a bike, buy the bus, buy a train, buy a cycle, whatever, you just need money for everything. So more money is better. Yeah,
I think as I've gotten older, something that I've noticed at least is some of my siblings, some of my friends, they seem to have a mindset sometimes that money is not that important. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But then they usually will have these big dreams that require a lot of money. And a lot of times I will tell people there's really nothing you don't do that doesn't require money. Like if you could do it, if you could afford it, you probably would do it, right? No one's like, oh, I don't want to go on a vacation. It's like, you just can't afford it. Or, I don't want this car, this house, whatever. So I don't think you have to worship money, but I do think money is super important to what you just spoke, because that's usually the thing that you need to do the thing you want to do.
Yeah.
What's a question that maybe I should have asked you that I didn't that would help some of the listeners? Is there anything I should have asked you that would be insightful that I didn't?
Yeah, if you would ask me, what nobody asked me before is what it really takes to get results and be successful. And my answer to this is just, in my opinion, it helps you when you grew up and have difficulties, or not the easiest times in life. You have to fight. I had always to fight in my childhood and with other guys, whatever. I had my problems in this time, and it actually it helped. Now I know, you live the life, how is this? You live the life forward, but you understand and you understand it backward, right? Mm-hmm. And what I realized is it helped me to fail. It helped me to, with the other business models I told you, I failed miserably. And now I recognized, hey, this helped me to have now what I have, to have the guts to keep through, to keep going, And I know exactly, it will not always be like this, but there are cycles, and every down cycle makes you stronger for the next up cycle, right? And this is actually what I can tell everybody and encourage everybody to just keep going, and it's part of the process. Failing is part of the process. It's not that you have to throw in the towel then and say it doesn't work. No, it's part of the process. And probably this was the question.
Well, dude, I'm glad you could come on the show. I'm so proud of you from how far you've come. I mean, doing $1 million a month is not easy. It's very, very, very few entrepreneurs that will ever get to say that. Like you said, being in business for 6 years, 80% of businesses go out of business within 2 years. I mean, it's super incredible to see where you've come. And I think it's also incredible to see what you went through just to get to this point, because I do, you know, the longer it takes to get there, the harder it is. I think that the first time you're successful and you start making money, the times before that are the hardest because you've never tasted success, so it doesn't really feel real. So I'm super proud of you. If people want to get to know more about you, join you, they speak German, they should get into your program. Like, where can they find more out about you?
Yeah, on the social media, thank you first of all for the credits. I really appreciate it. On the social media, Philipp Lang, you know, PhilipPlang. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Search for the word passive income. This is a word I always like because this is the ultimate goal, you know, to sleep when you earn or earn when you sleep. And this is the last quadruple or, you know, cash flow quadrant as an investor. This is what I have my eye on and want to grow. So yeah, you will find me when you want to. I found you, even if I didn't search for you. So there is the possibility there.
Awesome, man. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, man.
All right, bro.